Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Communicate to Lead virtual conference. I'm very excited about the learning that you all will have the opportunity to engage in. We have so many wonderful guests that are here to share their leadership journey, insights, techniques, expertise, just all things leadership is what we are here to talk about today. And I have another fantastic guest here who has a very awesome name, Lead-Blaz. I've been practicing because I think it's just so awesome. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Charlie. I'm looking
Wonderful.
forward to this one.
Awesome. Awesome. I can feel all the good energy. So whoever's
Oh yeah.
watching, yeah. It's like me and you, they're probably gonna be tired.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like this. Whoa.
Yeah, it's like,
This is the
whoa.
most exactly, exactly. So, as I like to get started, if you could please just tell everybody who you are and then a little bit about your organization and what you do.
Mhm. So I'm Blaž Marolt, and I come from Slovenia, Europe, and I am currently a leadership coach, and I am helping new managers and individual contributors who want to reach their full leadership and career potential. And so what I do with my coaching, people use my hard-earned lessons and methods and then combine them with neuroscience to achieve their true self-leadership, which is pretty much the basis of any successful or every successful leader. And then if the person that I'm talking to are also managers of CEOs or of companies, I also do leadership development workshops for companies, mostly with lower and middle management, where we pretty much work to help them achieve their peak team and individual performance. And that is who I am.
Absolutely. You did that great. You were like, it's like an
Thank you.
elevator, almost like an elevator pitch, right? That's like, okay,
Oh yeah.
how can I sum up all of the fantastic things that I do in just a
Yes.
few?
Yeah. It's an actual elevator pitch. Yeah. So I was before I was a leadership coach, I was also a part of a career coaching company. So that's where we did our elevator pitches. So it's really useful for this one. So
Yeah, that explains why it was so well done. Check.
yeah, thank you. Check.
Exactly. You're right. That's wonderful that look how
Yeah.
technology is that I'm in Houston, Texas, and you're in Europe,
Yeah.
and we're able to
Yeah.
collaborate today.
This is why I enjoy it so much, because it's not only like just this collaboration. Because if I was in Slovenia, I could only collaborate with like a small portion of people, but like here it's worldwide. And the one thing that I love is like cross-cultural
Hmm.
communication, cross-cultural just exchanging views, because the
Right.
more we are interconnected, the more we can learn, and it's just so
That's right.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
enjoy it
beautiful
so
thing.
much. Yeah.
Every
Oh
time I
yeah,
get
I
the
enjoy it.
opportunity to talk to somebody else, I learn as well. So I'm putting this
Yeah.
conference on selfishly for myself too, because every leader that I get to talk to, I'm like, ooh, I need to take that. Oh, I like that idea. I could do better in this area. It's a great
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And I mean, congratulations on your selflessness, right? It's like, yes, I'm
Mhm.
learning from so many people now,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
Yeah.
And then everybody else that's listening to this and to the other, coaches, leaders and stuff, like they're going to learn a lot within
Right.
one conference, right? And it's just amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Yeah.
I know you probably your mind because you coach leaders all the time. There's
Yeah.
probably so much you want to be able to share today, but we have a
Yes.
limited amount of time, so I'm telling myself, okay, stay focused.
Yeah.
Not you. I'm telling myself that. Uh, So one of the biggest pieces that we talk about with being a leader is being
Mhm.
able to create that vision. All right.
Yes.
And getting
Yeah.
everybody on one accord and being able to see where they're headed. Is there something or an example that maybe you have where you've had to really define that vision
Yeah.
for others? And what was that like? So, talk to me about creating that clear
Yeah.
vision.
So one like the vision that I pretty much complete from beginning to the end, right, is that I can talk about is, so I was in the military before my leadership journey, right? And the thing was, we just created a new unit that was going to be deployed in 2 years. And this is where we got together and I told them the vision. Look, we're going to be here together for 2, maybe even 3 years. And our goal is to go through all the hardships that we have. And in the end, when it's going to be the last time when we come from our deployment, we're going to be talking and we're going to be putting our hands together and say like, hey, it was an amazing experience. I don't want to see you right now because we've been together for 3 years and I need, a break from you, but we're still going to be colleagues and friends and we're not going to hate each other. And that was the vision. It's a simple vision, but hard to, of course, to implement, right? But that was the one that everybody coalesced around, right? And what I've seen and why I'm even like talking about this vision is, I've been in 5 different industries in leadership positions, and every single vision that I've seen is too complex. It's too far out there. It's almost like, oh, we have a vision, but it's really not achievable. We just have it there because somebody just said like, hey, we want a vision.
Yeah.
And with a vision, it needs to be achievable. People need to buy into it and see also what's in it for them, not only for, for the company, what's in it for the company. And then we don't care about the individual, which is never going to work. And yeah, this is the way, like, if I can like advise anybody how to create a vision, create one that's achievable, that people know how are we going to achieve it, what's kind of almost like a timeline, and then tell the people, hey, this is what you're also going to get out of it. And it should be that.
That's true. People talk about setting achievable goals, right?
Yeah.
Which we call like SMART goals, but I don't know if people necessarily attach that with their mission and their vision. I think that's a great connection that you're making.
Yes.
Whereas sometimes people's mission or vision sounds almost aspirational. And then there's that disconnect where you're like, okay, is that what we literally are going to accomplish? Or is that just, something that we hope will end up happening? And I like that connection that you make with that.
Yeah. And like, just like right now, I got like a couple of other visions that we had for the companies, and they were like, okay, so in 3 years, we're going to achieve $10 million in revenue, right? And in this moment, we're like at 1 million. And then you ask, right? It's like, okay, so we're going to be 10xing in 3 years. So we need to do 3 million, like 4 million, 7 million, 10 million in 3 years. Is that achievable? Can we achieve this? Well, probably not, but we just want to get there. And then this is like a disconnect. And people are like, okay, it's fine if we don't get there. It doesn't really matter because nobody believes in it. Right. So kind of.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So when you're talking about that, I'm thinking a lot about how much communication is a part of this. Like you talked about being in the military and having to get other folks on board and listening. So when you think about that effective communication, what are some of your strategies to really be able to have clear communication?
Yeah. So first, when like let's say even if we're talking the military or not, like communication strategies and communication is pretty much similar. But what people usually need to understand is that team communication or group communication is different than individual communication. And you have to understand who the team is. So almost like the team gets their own personality, and if you're a leader, you can define it, and you should define it. And then like to the group, it's going to be a lot easier to communicate, because usually it's going to be almost your communication style, right? But then you also have to understand the individual and their personalities, how their communication styles work. Because one of the tenets of leadership is, if I know my communication style, I need to know also yours. And if I'm a leader, I will make sure that I communicate most likely in your style, because you're going to be better receptive. So one of the funniest things that's happened to me in the past 2 years was I was a chief of staff for a career coaching company, right? And my boss, after 6 months after hiring me, he was shocked that he actually thought that we had the same personalities. And then we had a test done. So whoever knows the DISC test, right? So he was DI and I was SC. So we were 100%, 108% opposite. And he was so shocked. He was like, Blash, how does this happen? How didn't I know that, you had a different personality? I was like, Well, because I communicated based on your style, because I knew that we were going to get a lot more shit done if I communicated through your style instead of me trying to educate you what my style was. And that was a big shock to him and pretty
Yeah,
much to everybody. Yeah. So, and
that
this
is
is where,
that's dynamic. I
yeah.
love to,
And
so I train people. I actually come out to companies and do the disc profile for
oh,
others.
awesome.
Mhm. Yeah, and I
That's
do something
amazing.
very yeah, and I talk about something very similar because oftentimes people will see me and they see how outgoing and talkative I am and
Yeah.
make these assumptions. And when really I'm a D, but I
Yeah.
can cover it very
Yeah.
well because I want to meet the needs of those that I am talking to or working
Yeah.
with or leading. And so it's very similar to
Yeah.
what you're saying, where we're able to go into these different communication styles to fit the
Yeah.
needs of others. But yeah, you that's a lot of aha moments when you take the time
Yeah.
to learn and understand one another.
Yeah.
You say, oh, that's why you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right. And when you have, like, let's say in the military, I had like 30 people. And when I was a production manager, I had 120 people under me.
Right.
And that's a big difference, is like how you communicate with them. And it's like, I
Mhm.
can't expect everybody to understand how I communicate, because my
Right.
communication style is probably a little bit different, because I'm also a neurodivergent as well.
Mhm.
Like, right.
Yeah.
And the way I communicate, I can guarantee you like 60, 70, 80% of people will not understand me. So I need to
Mhm.
understand their communication style, how to effectively portray that, and to make them do what I want them to do, right?
Mhm.
And it's on me, because I'm a leader. I can't expect
Mhm.
my individual contributor, whoever that person is, analyst or whoever, right, to switch to my level,
Right.
because
Yeah,
it's my responsibility to be there for them and make sure that they succeed in their place.
that's true. That's I think that's an area for leaders to recognize because there's
Yeah.
plenty of leaders that are trying to figure out why they're not meeting their goals and they keep
Yeah.
having this my way or the highway mentality. And I say it's
Hmm.
not going to work, especially not in 2024. It's a
No.
new day and age, and that strategy
Yeah.
it just doesn't work anymore because if you say my way or the highway, they choose the highway.
Oh
They're
yeah, they
saying,
will.
okay, then bye.
Yeah. See, I mean, I can have another job anywhere, or I'd
Yeah,
rather be without a job than being
right.
here with you, because I don't like you. And what you said,
Yeah.
especially now, and especially with Gen Z and even like
Mhm.
us millennials and stuff, like I will not stay in a job that I think my boss is an a-hole or whatever, or like you're just
Yeah.
saying like, hey, this is what I do, this is how we're going to do it. It's like, okay, cool, I can go to the other company which is going to pay me the same or even more and value my input. And
Right.
that's pretty much it.
That should be the end of our conversation right there. Put a bow
Yeah.
on it.
And
Just leaders, just you heard it here. Okay. If
yeah.
you didn't know, now you know. Uh, my way or the highway.
Yeah,
Millennials, Gen Z, we choose the highway.
exactly. Yeah.
No.
And the data proves it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. No, I think that is definitely something that people need to hear. So when we're talking about meeting people's needs and addressing different communication styles,
Mhm.
with that sometimes comes some tough conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
there's leaders that struggle sometimes with how to navigate that space. Talk to
Yeah.
me a little bit about how
Yeah.
you've handled some of those tough conversations or difficult
Mhm. Yeah.
conversations with either team members or others.
Yeah. So the first thing, so I always do when I'm a leader and the team that I'm leading or whatnot, is I do two things. I always make sure that it's a safe environment and we have
Mhm.
trust, right? And so I build this for weeks or even months on end, because it's always a continuous one, right? Especially with trust, right? You can create a safe environment. People see it as long as they can feel it, but trust is legitimately given. So when I go into a leadership role, I every single person that I see on my team has my trust, right? I always give it to them right away, but I have to earn their trust. And this pays then dividends in not only in these hard conversations, but pretty much everywhere else, right? Um, but when it comes to the hard conversations, it's usually situational dependent. So if it's an individual person only that has any issues, or stuff like that, or if it's multiple of them, right? So what I usually really like to do is just get them one-on-one and then hear their side of the story, right? And one of the big things that I advise anybody that has a difficult conversation is to listen to the person. Don't come in the conversation already knowing, hey, I've made my decision, I'm going to do this, because they will feel it. Like 100%, that person will feel it, and they will not feel hurt. And you pretty much you will even worsen the situation. Just go there, talk with them, hear their issues, their challenges, or whatever they have. And then if it's an individual, give them your view and then come up to a conclusion. Okay, it's different if you need to fire somebody, but that should not be a surprise for either party, right? So that would be my take on the individual. If you have like two people that are in communication rift or whatever, again, have one-on-one with them, with each one separately, and again, hear their story, because you're legitimately a neutral judge at that point. You cannot take sides. And then, if the conversation can be resolved in one-on-ones, that's perfect. If not, go and have them have a meeting together with you in there as a safe person. And then, of course, depending on the situation, what's going to happen is going to happen. But what you need to always do is to make sure that you don't play favorites, right? Always be that person that's going to be just, because it all comes then back again to a safe and trustworthy environment, right? People can trust you. They will see that. And even if there's only two people out of, let's say, 120, when I was leading them, they're going to see how you handled this situation or how I handled it. And if they perceived it as an injustice, the trust is gone. The safe environment is gone. And you're in, again, at the bottom, you have to build this trust if you ever can, because there's always going to be, Blaž didn't do this, like he didn't listen to this person, I don't trust him anymore. And they're never going to go back and ask you for advice or anything like that. And you're going to have a dysfunctional team.
That's right. Yeah. People are willing to forgive when they know that they can trust you, right? Because nobody's perfect, right? Leaders make mistakes. People make mistakes. But if you build that strong foundation of trust, then you can have those difficult conversations. You can have those celebrations as well, because they know where you stand. And so when you trust somebody, everything's not going to always be perfect and roses, right? But
I mean, it would be awesome if it could be, but it's not. Of course, it's
right.
life.
Yeah. But sometimes people want to just bypass all of that and just they're saying, I'm here for the work and I just want to get the work done. And I'm like, well, the work won't get done if you don't build those relationships, because people will give you more output when they feel like they can trust you. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. You want the output to shoot up, then you need to slow down. Slow down, find out how to pronounce Blaj's name, right? Take the time. Where are you from? What do you like to do? Right. As far as, just jumping right in, which takes time. Time.
And it's going to pay dividends when there's a crisis, because if you have a crisis, then if you have trust and all of the relationship and safety, I still am surprised when I had a crisis in one of my previous jobs, when people just coalesced around me and it was like, I'm going to be working for you. Like a person was working for me until 11 p.m.
Right.
Their job was done at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. They were like, I was like, why are you working? It was like, because of you. Like, I know you're in crisis right now, right? We're in crisis and I'm going to be working. And they did a great job because, I needed help. If this trust doesn't work, if it's not there, and if like you said, right, hey, I'm just here to work 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever you work, and then I'm leaving also as a manager, that's never going to happen, because they're going to be like, oh, oh, it's so hard. Oh yeah, it's 7 p.m. See ya, I'm gone. Like, I don't care.
But 6:30. They're
or
taking
6, exactly.
They're taking an early lunch.
Exactly. And they don't care.
Yeah, that's true. Man, Blaj, you have said so much. I'm going to have to definitely connect with you again. But
absolutely.
As we kind of wrap things up, because I think you've given me 10, 15 nuggets. I'm like, okay, communication style, trust, leadership. I love it. I can't thank you enough. But as we close,
Yeah,
is there a final thought that you have? So, if for those that are in leadership right now, or even emerging leaders, if you could
yeah,
share one final thought with them, what would it
yeah.
be?
If as a new leader, emerging leader, if you can do, if you want to do anything, do this right. Have trust, build a trustworthy and safe environment. If you do this, legitimately the majority of your work is done, right? Because the people, you're going to empower people so much, and people will want to work for you, and they will coalesce around you whenever there's are issues and that. And then when you do this, the second step is give your people the resources they need.
Yeah,
If they don't have them, find them. It doesn't matter how, find them, and you will be surprised how much output will they give you, and it's not going to be a burden to them. They're going to be happy to do it because you're the leader that they need.
that's right.
And yeah,
The leader that they need. That
yeah,
part right there. Be the leader
yeah,
that they need.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Blaž,
Yeah,
if people want to connect with you more, tell us, how
yeah,
can people get in contact with you?
yeah. Just connect through LinkedIn with me, and yeah, just connect. Say, hey, I saw you in the conference. I would love to meet. I love to having like those 15 minutes short calls. They give me energy. I enjoy meeting other people. And yeah, always let's connect and we can find if we can work together or not. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful.